Hey guys, this is Fiend President 91, and with season 3 on the horizon, I figured I should make my top 5 worst decisions that were in season 2. Now, remember, these are just my opinions on the top 5 worst decisions. Please tell me yours in the comments below. Alright, without further ado, number 5, AI memory. Now, what is AI memory? Basically, it's when a character from the game that reminds the player of something that he or she did, or makes a comment based on something that the player did, sometimes a while back, sometimes just then. In season 1, this happened pretty often. AI characters would constantly remind you of stuff that you did, sometimes hours before. And it was greatness because it kind of brought realism to the game.
I wanted to talk to you about keeping my past from you all.
You told us it was your parents' store back in Macon. That was enough personal information.
Problem with season 2 is that this barely happens. Sure, it does happen a few times, but definitely not enough. Especially if you are... Now, I didn't play any bad choice only Clementine in my playthroughs, but I watched Scumbag Clementine from YouTuber Black Games, which I encourage if you guys want to see the darker side of Clementine, I guess, watch some of his videos. But basically, even if you're a complete scumbag Clementine, the adults still treat you like you're you're this perfect little angel. Almost. They barely treat you any differently. So it's like, what? Where's the AI memory? Why is everybody still treating Clementine almost like she's the perfect little angel, even if she's just a scumbag to everyone? And speaking of the AI, number 4 is rehashing characters. Now, what happened was the season 1 group was great. Now, it seems that the season 1 group was so great that the writers decided to take some characters, give them new names, basically give them the same personality as characters from the season 1. Now, the characters I found that were really too similar to the characters in season 1 were Nick, Sarah, Jane, Sarita, Reggie. Reggie was a lot like Doug. Sarita was practically a carbon copy of Katja. Jane was a lot like Molly. Sarah was a lot like Clementine. And Nick was a lot like Ben. I mean, many of us love these characters in season 1, but seeing them rehashed, I'm not going to say lazy, but it feels like maybe you could have, even if you took some personality traits from these characters, you could have differentiated them enough so that they didn't seem like just rehashed characters from season 1. I mean, Nick is the guy who tries to do good but messes up, like Ben. And the way that Sarah and Clementine's relationship is, it's almost like Clementine's Lee and Sarah's Clementine most of the time, basically. And Jane was the hardcore woman who thought she could do it on her own. So, yeah, these characters are simply retaking characters from season 1 and putting them in season 2 with new names. I really think it was a poor decision made. And as I said with Sarita, well, let's move on to number 3. Rehashing storylines. Now, what is this? This really took huge effect in episode 4. See, as I said, Sarita was basically a carbon copy of Katja. She was like nice, friendly. She was with Kenny. And basically, she was Katja 2.0. Then they decided at the beginning of episode 4 to have her die. I mean, you're going to make her Katja 2.0, and then you're going to give her Katja's same exact storyline. Die. Kenny goes insane. Kenny gets angry. Kenny gets unreasonable. That sounds familiar.
Cat, Katja!
Well, yeah, and even Nick with Ben's storyline almost. So, rehashing the old storylines, especially how it led to the end with Kenny, with the choice between Kenny and Jane, because Kenny was just completely unreasonable. I'm like, it felt too much like season 1 reduxed, basically. Number 2, choices didn't really matter. Now, what choices am I talking about? I'm not talking about the little ones. I'm talking about the 5 major choices that you're given in each episode. The problem is that a lot of these didn't matter as much as they did back then. Like episode 1, right off the back, number 5 major choice is to pick between Pete or Nick. No matter who you pick, Pete dies. Doesn't matter. And this reminded me so much of Doug and Carly's choice. That was a choice that mattered. One of them was going to live till episode 3. The other one was going to die in episode 1. That was the choice that mattered. But Pete and Nick's choice was like, what? That didn't matter. And it kept going through the other episodes. It was like so much of these major choices didn't matter in the end. And that shouldn't happen. In season 1, those 5 major choices actually, characters sometimes would treat you differently. And as I said in episode 1, that depended on who was with you from until episode 3. Now, before I move on to number 1, I gotta say, I wasn't planning initially on making this number one because it's not the worst decision, but it is the one that affects you the most. So number one is playing as Clementine.
Why is it always me?
I think it was a mistake because Clementine is still a little girl. And as I said, even with the whole, if you're the worst scumbag Clementine ever, most of the people still treat you like you're a little angel, basically. They treat you the same. So that didn't happen with Lee. One of the biggest differences between nice Lee and scumbag Lee, I guess, was that people treated you a lot different. Certain people would treat you different because you were being a scumbag or you were being a nice person. You would have sometimes completely different cutscenes based on your moral decisions. That's how it was. Now, with Clementine, I guess it's because she was an 11-year-old girl, I think that was a mistake because it also led to unrealistic situations. Like when Walter takes her outside to try to get the groups together, I'm like, why are you picking the 11-year-old girl? You got so much people else in the group, and you're going to take the 11-year-old girl. Doesn't make sense. Or when Carver took her to his office, and I'm like, she's an 11-year-old girl. You're going to try to convince the 11-year-old girl to be on your side. How is she going to influence the rest of the group? See, the problem lies in that you playing as her, they wanted you to be involved in everything, so they put you in situations, I think, that would make more sense if you were an adult. It doesn't make sense if you were a kid. So, yeah. And not only that, but playing as Clementine meant that your choices from season 1 didn't really matter as much as they should have, because basically, whenever you made a choice in front of Clementine in season 1, I think a lot of times the whole Clementine will remember that thing comes up. I remember reading an article once when they were like, would Clementine, the choices you made in season 1 affect Clementine, because like if you chose to spare the brothers, would she be more into sparing people's lives, or if you chose different things? Problem is, with you playing as Clementine, you just cancel that all out. Because you get to choose, no matter how you were as Lee, you get to choose. If you did all the morally right choices with Lee, and then you came to as Clementine, you can make all the morally wrong choices. Didn't matter, because you're playing as her. So that whole what you do to Clementine in season 1 didn't seem to matter much as what happened to Clementine in season 2. Well, those are my top 5 worst mistakes. If you guys have any other mistakes from season 2 that you think were much worse than these, please leave them down in the comment below. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and may God bless you all.